Does CDN and Mito Fraco have an alliance? I wouldn't go so far. If you look at the 2025 DEA National Drug Threat Assessment recently published, the DEA assessed that CDN and Mito Fraco have a business relationship, maybe even a business alliance, but not a strategic alliance, as Los Chapitos and Jalisco New Generation Cartel recently announced. This relationship between CDN and Mito Fraco basically consists of Mito Fraco pushing product, specifically drugs, to CDN, and then it's CDN's responsibility to smuggle that across the border to make money. And this business model makes sense. CDN, if you look at a map, controls territory along the border with the United States centered around Nuevo Laredo and areas around Nuevo León and Tamaulipas. But what CDN does not control is those territories deeper inside of Mexico that are key for drug manufacturing. They rely on other cartels to give them the product so that they can smuggle it. Who controls a lot of those territories? One cartel specifically is Mito Fraco, and that's where this relationship comes along. And this business model is very similar to other cartels that operate along the border, specifically the Gulf Cartel, Metros, and Scorpion Group, although the Metros, let's be real, are now Jalisco New Generation Cartel and not a faction of the Gulf Cartel. And then another cartel, La Línea, or the Nuevo Cartel de Juárez, or the Juárez Cartel based out of Chihuahua. These cartels, as they operate along the border, really require other cartels and criminal groups to push them the products that they can smuggle through. This is where CG&G has been very successful, because although on paper CG&G doesn't really control any border areas, they have deep-seated alliances with other border cartels to push products, specifically La Línea and Metros, which the US government assesses the Metros are basically CG&G. Now we're seeing Mito Fraco follow a similar model with the Northeast Cartel. Two different organizations that have a business alliance that they push product. But that does not necessarily translate to much more in a strategic alliance, because we are not seeing Mito Fraco members fighting side by side in CDN, or even a desire to do that. CDN has its own violent conflict with those Metros around Tamaulipas and other areas in Nuevo León, and Mito Fraco is fighting against La Línea without the support of CDN. And Mito Fraco is actually very concentrated on a border town in Chihuahua called Ojinaga. We're not seeing CDN and Mito Fraco fighting side by side, indicating this strategic alliance, just simply a transactional business agreement that, although might fall apart, could stay in place. And who knows? It's never out of the realm of possibility that maybe CDN and Mito Fraco enter into a strategic alliance, just like Los Chapitos and Jalisco New Generation Cartel. It's just we haven't seen that, and there's no proof to indicate that. My belief is this is simply a business dealing between two cartels that serve their own interests.